her hubby won't touch her. Go figure, because she's put on a lot of weight. So she's messaged me because she's seen some of my stuff, asking me about things, and they're all around the same age, like 25 to 30, which is really sad. But yeah, that seems to be the main messages I'm getting from people, is from mums that literally just can't. They seem to be struggling to find the time and the information. Like nobody's giving them time, almost.
Yep.
If that makes sense.
No, for sure. Cool. One thing I forgot to say is that I record these so that I can send you the link if you want to rewatch them, so you don't have to take notes. Yeah. That's also why might be but I'm not being a freak or anything like that. But yeah. So what we need to think about and what we need to talk about is who do you effectively, like, when these people reach out to you, do they look like your clients that you want to train? Because it's very easy for us to think, cool, like, these people are reaching out to us, we can make them pay whatever, but like, it's what we don't want to do, and this is the biggest kind of information dump that I can say probably in this call so far, is that we don't want to trade one job you don't like doing to put you into a world that you've really wanted to be in, not only to just end up working with clients you don't want to work with. Right. So the most powerful thing an online coach can say is, actually, you're probably not a fit for me. Here's another trainer.
Well, funny you should say that, because a woman messaged me yesterday. Mm-hmm. She's been harassing me for a week. And eventually yesterday I actually said to her, I said, listen, this is nothing against you. She goes, nobody will help me. I said, honestly, I am not the best fit for you. For what you want, I don't teach. It's not my demographic. I'm not the best fit. So you need to talk to a nutritionist and you need to find another coach, because honestly, what you want, I can't give you.
Yep.
And she got the shits with me. She cracked up. And I'm like, well, sorry, I just can't see how I can help you. Because she's coming up with a lot of excuses under the sun. Apparently nobody will help her. And she wanted a specific diet plan, which I refuse to do. Mm-hmm. Because we're not trained to do.
Yeah, the thing that you need to do is just own the issue, own the problem that you want to fix, and this is why it's so important at week 1 that we just own the thing that we want to do, and then we never backtrack. Because it's very easy online to accept everyone that comes in just because they're going to pay you, right? Just because they're going to pay another $49 a week, and it's just times 20, times 30, times 40. But the best client results we can get are the ones that we want to wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning for in Spain when I've got shit to do.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not going to do that for anyone. Like, yes, okay, I've got clients paying me, whatever. But if I don't like the client and they're not the right fit, they're not coming on my program. Because I'm not going to stay in my office until 9 o'clock to do a coaching call if that person's going to be like, oh, actually, like, sorry, this, because I've been doing it I've been doing online for a good amount of time, but PT for a long time. And the thing that gets me the shit is that, like, I've changed my schedule around to reschedule that person for her only to message me and put a problem in front of the solution. So you've got to really, because there's less accountability, there's actually more online than there is face-to-face, but there's actually less in the terms of in a client's head, more barriers come up. So, sorry, I do a call because my child's yelling in the background. Fuck the child in the background. Get on the call. Yeah. Right? Yeah. But you'll find that you've got two different takes of a client. You've got a client that's going to do that regardless, or you've got a client that will make any excuse because a phone call, a FaceTime, a video is intimidating for them. But they're the ones that wanted the program. So 9 times out of 10, the people that messaged you aren't going to pay your price because they're probably just coming to you because they want you to help them, and then they'll go away on the merry way. 9 times out of 10, even if you send them a message saying this is what you should do, they won't do it because they haven't paid. They're going to try and probably shopping around as well, because I guarantee you once you acknowledge the comment or acknowledge the message, they're probably going to ask how much you charge.
Yeah.
And we never, until the day that I die, I'm never going to tell someone how much my program is until I'm on the phone with them. Because if they want to know my price, they're just going to shop around until they see a number lower than what they have in their bank account.
Yeah.
And I don't care. Like, I could put any price in any of my programs, and I believe the emphasis and the the acknowledgement that my clients get within the one-on-one scenario, I could literally charge anything and someone will pay it. Because I guarantee the results. I make sure that they've got everything. I do extra things if I need to, but I do that because I'm working with people I actually want to work with.
Yeah.
So the reason I say creating your ideal client in week 1 is because if we don't really know who we want to work with directly, and we're just going off what the other online coach that I saw is and what I think I want to work with and you know, like what's trending at the moment, then understanding long term, if this is a, you know, one-stop shop in terms of this is what we want to do for the remainder of our kind of lifetime before we build something else, we want to be working with a band of ambassadors. The only way we do that is get people that actually want to be on our program and that are willing to pay the money. Because again, I'm very much a money-orientated numbers person, and this is what conflicts me with a lot of different coaches and a lot of different business coaches and a lot of different around. I just got blocked on Facebook by a business coach that I was talking to.
Yeah, right.
He didn't believe that I was leading the right path, and he messaged me and I said, mate, get back in your corner, right? I didn't say it like that, but I called him out on something that he was doing and he blocked me, and I was like, well, that's the type of person that person is. I don't block anyone for any reason other than the fact that if they physically say they're going to kill me and I'm worried about my life. Because I think blocking a person is the lowest form of insecurity, if that makes sense, unless they're an impulsive ex and unless you've actually got a valid reason. But you'll see this as well. Once you start trending and once you start building your business, like I said on my podcast that I recorded today, your circle is going to go very, very small, and the people in your circle are going to be very, very judgmental. And I was talking to, I can't remember who I was talking to about it. And, you know, I only let in a certain amount of people in my circle because if I bring up an idea or a topic, what they say back, although not really so much now, used to have a big impact on the way that I lived my life. Like if they said that person was weird, or they said that girl wasn't really into you, or they said that workplace was bad, or they said that gym was shit, or they said your idea wasn't working, I would take that as Bible and go back and be like, damn it. Okay, I'm not going to talk to that person. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. Yeah. I created in my head, I created a system for people to work through that because I probably guarantee 9 times out of 10, a lot more people go through that. But understanding what we've said today, do you have in your head, without fully going into it and without going away over the next 6 days and working on it, do you feel like you have an idea of let's start like this. Do you have an idea of what issue you want to fix? Being down to the specific, like, I want to make mums love themselves more each and every day, blah, 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 blah. Like, instead of saying, I want to lose weight, use this analogy. Instead of using, I want to lose weight, I want to lose X, Y, and Z. This is what I want to do. If we can be as specific as possible, this is where the money is going to come from.
I suppose I want to actually, because I like training females, I want to target mums in particular, and I want them to be able to have the confidence to walk into a gym and not feel like they're judged. Like, because I know that a lot of women feel like they're scared to go in a gym, especially when they're new to it. They feel like they're getting judged when they're not. And I suppose I want them to feel like they have that. I want them to get over their insecurities of it and to give them the confidence to walk in there and go, yes, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to work out and fuck everyone else, basically.
Cool.
You know?
Cool. Okay. Sweet. So if we were to say, are they just so you want them to go to a gym? You don't want them to work out at home? You don't want them to work out at a park?
Oh, no, at home, because I know that there's females that they're just scared. I don't know why they are. They're scared. They're worried about like doing any form of exercise. I don't get it. And I suppose it's body confidence issues. Like, they're worried about just simply putting on a pair of tights or something and doing a workout to make themselves feel good. Because I don't know how it goes on in their heads, but for some reason they've got it in their head that every time they look in the mirror, they hate themselves. They hate who they're looking at, which was actually me 9 months ago. So I want to help them get over that fear and to give them confidence that, no, I'm doing this for me. Like, I don't want to do this for anyone else. I just want to do this for me. I feel confident in my own skin. However, I want to better myself. And I suppose that's where I want to come into it and help them grow mentally, and not only mentally, but physically as well, and just give them confidence back. Because so many mums don't have confidence. they're always worried about their kids or their hubby, but they forget themselves, and then they forget to love themselves, basically. So I want to help them get that, I suppose, independence back.
Cool. Okay, sweet. So what do you think in their current life that they're doing that causes that to happen?
They're too worried about everyone else. Like, they're too worried about what their kid's doing. Like, I can use one of my good mates, Kiara, is a classic example. She's always worried about what her hubby's doing. She's always worried about what her 3 boys are doing, when the next dance lesson is. She never makes any time for herself. I've even said to her, I said, you just need a half an hour a day for yourself, a time out. And her response to me was, I don't have it. I don't have time for that.
So I made a comment. What did I put? It was in my Instagram post. I said that people that say they have no time just have no direction, because time is something that everyone uses as an excuse, but it's because they have no direction. Because as soon as, like, for instance, when people go on holidays from school, right, they have no sense of time, and they kind of just, everything goes fast. They feel like they have nothing, all that kind of stuff. When they go back to school, because they've got direction and because they know what they're doing, time flies. Right? They don't use time as an excuse. They don't say they have no time to go to class or school or whatever, because they have to be there at certain times. The only reason she's feeling like that is because everything else is scheduled for her apart from what she does.
Okay, yep.
You can see an easy solution you can market to her is say, okay, well, what we need to do is you not saying time, like, you just need to call her out and say that's bullshit, right? Which you're probably going to do. Yeah. But you have to give her a solution that fits in with her current lifestyle. So how does she, because 9 times out of 10, she's doing all the planning for her hubby. She's doing plans for her kids. She's making lunches, dinner, all that kind of stuff. But she has to have some sort of routine. So she'll know in her head what times that's happening. She needs to go through that time with her and say, there's 15 minutes there, there's 15 minutes there, there's 15 minutes there. That's your time. Block that shit out.
Yeah.
This is when, though, that they can come back and say, that's not your ideal client. Because if they're not willing to do that, that's not your ideal client. Because if you're going to have fight back, you're going to have that person that's going to be on your program. And this is why we have minimum terms. That you're going to have that program that doesn't show up to the call because they're not doing things, it's too hard or whatever. So we have to dive deeper to that. Why doesn't she have time? What's in her relationship that's causing her to feel like she has no time? What is her partner saying? What are the kids saying? I dove so deep into one of my mum's worlds that I realized that the language that her kids were saying to her, the language that her partner was saying, was the reason why she felt she had no time. Because she felt like she was a person that needed asking, or she needed to ask for permission. So her value of time came from asking for that time from someone else, where I made her feel like she no longer had to ask for it. She just makes it. She just gets that shit done. But asking those questions is where those things come from. And this is why when we sign our clients up, it's that they book in for their own consults rather than we book themselves. Because if they're booking in, they're most likely going to show up. If they're downloading it, they're most likely going to show up.
Okay.
And again, we use those emphasis of the emails, the Facebook messages. We use our marketing to subconsciously show that you're a real person rather than the macho PT, because your demographic, the ideal client that you've started to create, isn't going to want that person that's on a fitness model, isn't going to want a Bradley Simmons, isn't going to want those people. They're going to want a person that loves bread, carbs, and beer on a weekend.
Pretty much.
But that's why, like, my emails start with shit like, I hate New Zealand, or like New Zealand's blah, 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 blah. Like I'll go off this. So my email today was, this is going to ruin me, right? And it was talking about how New Zealand currency is worse than euros. And I was like paying $30 for a glass of water, right? My demographic is going to be like, that's me. I hate paying for that crap. They'll email me back and say, I hate that shit. I have to go for my family, or I take my 3 kids to Australia, which is double, or like Australia, you know what I mean? So like it resonates with them. So you need to find things. And when you're ideal client, I'm going to send you a video of my brainstorming thing. And I want you to brainstorm once you've done your ideal client, because you'll probably do this relatively quickly because it's not a very big task, give or take how much time you have spare. What you want to do is, what I'm going to do is send you that brainstorm idea, and you say, cool, this is my ideal client. You put it in the middle of the video, put it in the middle of the page, and then say, what are the problem areas? And then how is my language going to fix those problem areas? So even you putting up a post every day on your personal profile talking about problems for your ideal client, it's subtly nurturing them into your funnel. Although our funnel doesn't exist yet, that if we start talking their languages, you'll start relatively realizing you're getting messages from people saying, I really resonate with that. Or you might start getting more likes or hearts or whatever, or shares.
Yeah.
And like I said, like so many people have said in the past, it's not about today that counts. It's about 2 months when they're feeling very vulnerable, they're going to turn around and ask for you.
Yeah.
And that's an ROI that you're never going to get from a Facebook ad.
Okay.
So although I love the way we market is going to be hardly organic, it's going to be all kind of other side of things because it's just more predictable. We want to make sure all the mediums come from a place that our ideal client wants you to speak from, not you, not just making an email talking about your problems, but again, resonating with that core issue of the problem that you fix. So think about all the scenarios in which you felt like you haven't been loved or you haven't been nurtured or you haven't been, all these problems. If you can resonate with that client, let's say like I'm awesome at it because I've had so many bad relationships, like all my girlfriends, all these fucking problems. Like like every time I go through them, I'm like, this is gold, man. I'm gonna make an email about this in 2 months once they realize I'm right. Like I'm straight in it. I don't see negatives. I see profit from this.
Yeah, right.
But if you can resonate on any single level, and this is where the brainstorming and this is where the build up and this is why we take so long to build up to it, the more we can get out in the earlier stages of the program, the more you can turn back to in 6 months' time and be like, yeah, that's an area I can explore. Because you've got to think about all of these things as not just work, but each idea you come up with could be a 6-figure idea, 7-figure idea, 3-figure, 1-figure idea. One of the email titles could make you $1,000 by you getting them to sign up to one of your programs or your coaching services or whatever, or your Facebook post, the Facebook post. You know, I strategically never do something for free, although it looks to a lot of people that it's for free. Because I'm the person that's in everyone's minds when they think about a certain thing, but I don't do it in a way that I'm a pushy salesman or a sleazy salesman. I do it in the way that I'm just doing it for myself. And then if people want to come in, they can come in. So when you're thinking about your ideal client, think about it to the point in which what were they doing as a child or a kid or their upbringing that caused them to think this way? Because their thinking patterns, they're the same person. Like if they're 20, 39 or 40, they were probably the same way when they were 9 or 10.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? A lot of trainers will only look at the surface level problem. And this is the difference between trainers that last and trainers that don't. They look at the surface level problem. They look at someone that's overweight and says, I'm going to give you a diet plan and a workout program, and I'm going to charge you $100 a week. And that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to send you a WhatsApp message a week. That drives my nuts. Like, I'm going to send you a text today. No worries, mate. I'm like, you're going to have churn like no tomorrow, because every business has churn. But the idea is the way that we retain clients, and the best investment we can ever have is if that client is going through something, what women do extremely well is they surround themselves with other women that are going through the same problem.
Yep.
Fix one problem, that person's going to go to a book club, coffee date, walking the baby, going to a child thing, and she's going to be like, get on my program.
Yep.
My online coach is the best.
Okay,
And then you'll start being like, okay, well, cool. Like, I'm going to advertise because advertising is king, but I'm also going to have referral campaigns where if someone gives me 5 clients, I'll send them to Bali. Or like when I was doing PT, like face to face, I was giving away massage vouchers every week to clients that would give me 2 or 3 referrals. I was so confident that even if they gave me shit ones, I'd still convert them. I was paying $50 for a massage and getting $200 in return.
Yeah, nice.
$150 profit. You can do this online as well. It's just a little bit more of a VIP group, live video, message, Facebook, voice memo. It's not as face-to-face as obviously PT would be. But that's again coming. We can't do that. And again, I'm skipping ahead to week 4, 6, and 8, and all that kind of stuff. We can't do that if we don't talk to the client like we've fixed the problem that when they were 8 years old, no one looked at them and no one fixed them. Because all this is overweight people didn't become overweight in a year. They didn't become overweight in 2 years. They didn't become overweight in 3 years. And most importantly, even if they did and we fixed it, they'll go back to it because we haven't fixed the core problem. So
I'm with you.
Yeah. So I'm more of a, like, we're going to dive deep into the issue rather than here's a way to make 20 clients this week and they're all going to leave you in 12 weeks. So you're always looking over your shoulder being like, where's my next client? If we build the foundations properly, yes, those systems work and I know what systems work. But if we don't fix the problem, if we don't start to fix the problem for our ideal client, we can't always guarantee that you can go on a beach in Bali and actually turn your phone off for a day and not have someone you saying, I want to quit.
Yeah.
So that's the emphasis of what we're doing today. So week 2 is building on that, and we're going to different things. Each week is different, but it always comes back to this. So if we don't do the homework, effectively we reschedule and we wait until you've done it, because that each week is important as its own, because it's like a layering of the cake. So we create your ideal client, we create the language in which it talks to, we create the way and voices that they are listening to, and the way that their circle of friends are. So when I made that example, you can go deeper than that. You can say she surrounds herself with negative people, make up names, put it into an actual scenario, because when you put a name to something, you actually kind of visualize what that person's going through, and you visualize scenarios that you've probably seen or faced in your lifetime as well.
Okay.
And then you start layering it as well. Again, I'm going to send you that video to do as well. But the most important are the 3 steps. So writing out the message, because the message is what then we take away and then we can advertise through as well. Name the client, and then how you're going to fix the problem. Now, this is where you can message me earlier in the week before our next call and say, does this look right? Does this look right? How does this sound? All the stuff. That's what when I was talking originally when you signed on, that's what I was meaning about messaging me. If you message me every single day with a new message and a new way of fixing a client and a new problem, that's perfectly fine. It's like when you get a math problem in class and you're worried about putting your hand up too many times because you don't want to be that kid.
Yeah, right.
The more we can emphasize the message and the more detailed we can get it, the more problems they have, the more solutions we can fix now. And then when we mark it, you can go straight into it. We've already created the systems.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. I think I've got it in my head, like what I want to, the demographic and all that. I just need to
talk me through it. Although it's not going to be now, we've still got plenty of time, so talk me through it.
I suppose I got it in my head. I'm just trying to figure out how I can.
Yeah, but this is the hardest part, man. Like, although this exercise looks super simple, right? It looks when I was writing it, I'm like, yeah, it's super simple when I was writing it a while ago, right? Yeah. Understand that the simple things done right is the hardest thing to do in our industry. Like to write a workout plan is the hardest thing you can possibly do, because we always try and overcomplicate things. We always try and put smoke and mirrors up to make it look cool, right? We put a curtsy lunge in, we put a reverse lunge in, and they can't even do a fucking squat properly, right? So understand that although each task will probably look simple, it's actually quite hard, because like you said, you've got it in your head, but it's quite hard to verbalize it. If we've got it in our head, we can't make money off that.
No.
And the way that we say it is that this is why we spend it in week 1, because if we're advertising with the same problem, we're just going to have scripts that are bad. And scripts, not bad, because nothing in advertising is bad, but when we advertise and do our challenges and do our ways of getting people in, we miss the message because we haven't spent the time going through those barriers. You're going to be like, honestly, pissed off every single day trying to write this, because you're going to be like, oh, I just can't get it out. How am I supposed to talk to this person? This is why I said name the client.
Yeah.
As soon as we name, like when I was writing this, I was like, yeah, Jenny. Jenny sounds like a cool name. And then I went on a journey. Then I was like, fuck, I got to stop because it's too much. Paragraph. Because this is like, it's like a short story. Like as soon as we start putting things in that are like fiction, like that are made up, we understand that like, okay, well, I came up with a name called Jenny because I trained a person 2 years ago called Jenny, and she was a mum that worked down. Like this is an actual client that I trained. But as I was building the client, it kind of resonated with more of the problem. And I turned this into exactly what I fix as a trainer, because I come back to my message all the time. It's impossible for me to get off my message because I've just refined it so much.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, this is where I started. So everything you're doing is exactly what I've done to get to where I am. So it's not like I'm coming up with these new fictional kind of, or these new favorite ideas. No. It's just shit that's going to get you in 6 months' time. You can come back and say, okay, well, for instance, if we lose direction when we're making money, you're like, oh shit, cool, I'm making money now. Like, I'm just going to go for everyone and anyone, because we all have that moment. We always can come back to this. This is why I said, download the resources. It's because you can always come back to this. And because we're recording it, because you're writing it down, there is no way we can forget the message either.
Yeah.
Right. So understand that, cool. Okay. What do I want to name my client? Although this isn't probably going to be the real name, put the name to it, then I can start building that kind of avatar in my head. What is my issue that I'm fixing? Cool. So what does that person probably do for a job? This area, right? Make it up. So real estate, meaning that there's a lot of pressure on it to get a lot of things done in a short amount of time.
Yep.
High pressure job, high stress job, whatever. Cool. All right. Somewhere along the line, in order for her to do that, she has a family, she had kids, she probably stopped loving herself when she looked in the mirror and she looked really bad in underwear. She probably might have a scar. She might have a little bit of she might not, shave her legs as much as she want to shave. So therefore builds up a little bit of less self-confidence. She's not as tan as she should be. She's not her figure is gone. Her people, because obviously being a real estate, it's kind of like, okay, I have to dress up a lot. There's a lot of stress from other co-workers. So she's going from a stressful environment from her husband to a stressful environment at work. She's already said that she doesn't give herself enough time. So you've got to think about it. Cool. So if I didn't give myself enough time for 12 hours, how fucking shit would I feel? Right? Yeah. Causes the binge eating, causes the stress eating, causes the pies, the sausages, the lollies.
Yeah.
Because her husband is so not supportive, she hides all of that shit in her car. She doesn't let anyone know about that. It's like sometimes males are really stubborn and don't talk about their problems because we're males, right? Same thing. She hides all the shit so that all that stress eats her up. So you can see how detailed we get up to it. Like all of that in my head, there's 4 or 5 ad campaigns that we can go and say, imagine making a video saying like, are you a woman that hides food in her car because she's got an unsupportive husband, because you don't feel like you can embrace the fact that you can be in a caloric surplus or whatever you want to do? Shit, people would eat up because people will be like, oh yeah, I've got Maccas in my car right now. I'm watching this and eating.
Yeah.
Trust me. Yeah, like it's just about having like a way of understanding how does Ryan get his problem out on a piece of paper. Maybe you're not a writer. Maybe you're more of a vocal person. If you want to do this and you want to do it that way, send me a voice memo and I'll write it down for you. Like that's part of my job, right? To help you if possible to get across the message. And like I said, normally I think the shortest amount of time this has taken a client for me to do is about 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
Because you've got your job, you've got your environment. You don't have 12 hours every day to focus on this one thing. Don't force it, right? Okay, like by the time we want to have another call, if it's not done, we can brainstorm and we can spend a little bit of time. Like I said, you can see how fast the time goes as well, right? So understand that it's not going to come to you straight away. It'll probably come to you in a real weird time, like probably when you're sleeping on the toilet, whatever you want to do, right? And then say, cool, fuck, I need to remember that. Every spare minute you're at, off your job, you're at home, you've got nothing else going on, think about it. Note, voice memo it. Cool. So my name is, I wanted to be called Rebecca. She works 50 plus hours a week. She has 2 kids. She has 3 kids. She's not my client. 2 kids only. Her husband is supportive, but also maybe her husband is supportive, but also overweight, and he's jealous of her success, which is another stressor that we can imagine. She doesn't want to lose the weight. She doesn't want to live her life because her husband is in a worse position, because obviously females are much more of I'll help my husband before I help myself. So there's numerous avenues you can take down. And trust me when I say, no matter how crazy your idea is, we can market it. Because remember, the more niche it is, the more realistic we can actually offer things for more expensive as well.
Okay.
Like I got on a business mentoring coach call like 2 months ago to mentor me, because I always have tried to have mentors in my life. It was going to cost me $5,000. Yeah, that was one off, right? $5,000.
Holy shit.
For a 6-week program that I would have had to do in Bali. So this was 2 months ago that he wanted me to pay, and I was going to be in Bali by the time it started. And I was like, can't, like, as much as I want to do it, man, like I can't do it because I'm not going to spend that much money and then be half-assed focused. So I understand the power of how much we can leverage once we actually take we can write a blank check to a person that we can fix a problem for, because we don't actually then get thought of as an expense. We get thought of as the key for a life she wants to live.
Yeah.
Cool. So again, cool. Barrier comes down for questions. If you've got questions 2 minutes after we have a call, no worries. Right? 3 minutes, midnight, 2 a.m., message it, voice memo it, whatever. I literally wake up, apart from our group chat in IFS, I wake up to probably 20 extra messages. So I'm at 100 messages a morning.
Right, okay.
So it's not about like, oh, I don't want to disturb him or whatever. My phone's on silent as soon as it goes to 11 p.m. So and I wake up at 6 or wake up at 5 or wake up at 4 or whatever, and I turn my phone on after I've done all my stuff. So it's not going to bother me whether you message me at whatever time. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But it's about asking the question so you don't waste time thinking about that question for too long.
Okay.
But yeah, this is week 1. If it takes us more than a week, no worries. Like I said, it probably takes the person 2 weeks to really refine it. We can have something done by the time our next call comes down, but we can always come back at every start of every call and say, do we want to add anything? Do we want to change anything? Again, we're not going to be perfectionists. We're not going to tweak things that are not going to work. But more importantly, you'll probably develop that client as we go through the program and say, actually, now that I think about it, I probably want to work with people that are like 25 instead of 30, right? Because I want to be the person they come to first so that when they're 30, they don't have to go through these problems.
So just on that one, so when you say age, like specific, like I was going with like age bracket of 25 to 30. Do you think like should refine that even more?
No. So it's more about like once you start thinking about this like really deep down, you actually start noticing the people around your scenario. So you'll go to a supermarket, you'll start people watching. Like the best thing I did in Barcelona was sit down on a chair when I think I was having Macca's or something, and I literally just watched people for like 2 hours. And I was like, I can tell, like not only can I tell if their alignment's wrong or their body is wrong, but I can tell if they're stressed. I can tell if they're emotional. I can tell if they need help or they need fixing. And I'm like, man, there's like 15 clients if I could speak Spanish. Right? Like that's also why I've really understood my language now, is that I can tell if someone's wrong, like something's wrong, and I'll sit there and fix it before they leave. And it's super annoying, and it makes me almost get put into the friend zone more often than not, right? But I don't care about that, because if I fix a problem, who gives a shit, right?
Yeah.
But what you'll start doing is realizing the more you go through this program, the more your language changes, your body language changes, and you actually start fixing things without even knowing. Like you may go into your surroundings right now, like week 2, week 3, week 4, and actually be like, okay, that person's acting differently. I wonder if it's because this, and this. And you start asking questions, you start role playing without even realizing.
So with that, like, okay, so when you start, like, obviously you get to that point, you start asking the questions and you're heading that. When those questions are on your mind, do you ask that person those questions, or do you just like, is that just to yourself subliminally?
So my problem is that I kind of, and this is where a lot of, not arguments, but kind of my criticisms have been in relationships, for instance. I go to friends, like when you meet a girl, she dates you, you go to her family, you go to her friends. I'm only using examples that I've been in big scenarios. I have a tendency to get in trouble because all her girlfriends come to me for issues. So I sit down and they're like, oh, like this has happened, this has happened, this has happened. I'm like,
yeah, right.
Cool. Okay, so and I ask them questions. I go say, okay, cool. So do you actually like your job? And they're like, kind of. And then I'm like, cool. So do you not like your job because that person at your job is mean to you? Because every single time you've come to the flat, it's been after work and it's been something because of blah, blah, blah. And she's like, fuck. Okay. Like, yeah. And she starts realizing. And then her boyfriend gets angry at me because she thinks, I don't give a shit. I work 24/7. Whether it's me knowing it or not, I'm just so fine-tuned now to ask questions. Like, for instance, at IFS, I was giving people advice and giving people information without actually meaning to. I went in with IFS and be like, do not do it. Like, just chill. And then you still did it. And I still did it. So, like, the same scenario when I put myself in social circles. If someone asked me about a question about business, I'll go above and beyond to answer that question as detailed as possible. Like if you watch in the group chat, someone will ask me and I'll give them the most detailed response. And they're like, yeah, fuck. You know what I mean? So I go above and beyond. So that didn't happen overnight. But again, I fine-tuned my processes that I can answer most questions because I've either been through it, had a client go through it, or I kind of understand the language in order why they're doing it. So again, if someone says to me that they have no time, I know it's not because they don't have any time. It's actually because they have no direction. And I'm ballsy enough to say, you actually have no direction. I said this numerous times in scenarios that I probably shouldn't have to people that are older than me in scenarios that were probably less favorable for my end, but I helped them and they realized it. Because if you tell someone, like, let's say your client comes to you and says, oh, I kind of want to quit. Like, I just don't think I'm getting results. You build up this database of people understanding why that person made that decision. Because last week she was loving everything. She said you were the best trainer. She said all this kind of stuff. I had a scenario with my UK client who wants to cancel. And I said, the only reason you're going to cancel is because your husband just said to you, and I guarantee this is correct because I didn't hear this. I said to your husband said to you that you didn't look good enough being on the program for as long as you've been on it for. And she's like, yeah, that's true. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, do you actually want to be married to this man? Because if he's saying that shit to you, get the fuck out.
He's a piece of shit, basically. What an asshole.
Get those kids, get the fuck out. Yeah. Right? So, and I say that now because I would never say that year one. I would have been like, okay, no worries, 14 days notice, see you later, see you, bye, I'm out. Right? Yeah. Now I'm like, I just don't care.
Yeah.
Because I know why I know what's happening now. Like, I know the scenarios they put themselves in. I know what I've been around the bush enough time now to understand relationships and what males expect from females, as bad as it sounds, and especially in marriages, right? The worst thing you understand, you'll go into things and be like, what the fuck? Like, what? This person, most of the time I get on consults and they're crying on the phone every time, 90% of the time, because I'm telling them things that they haven't been told before because no one's had the balls to tell them. So when you've got an opportunity to practice. If they think you're weird, fuck them. If they that's what I'm saying. What you've got to realize is
got about 3 or 4 fucking females that I know in mind. As you're rattling this off, I'm like, fuck, I need to
bro. You know what's going to happen? Week one when we launch, I guarantee you, our biggest client pool is going to come from people that you're already friends with.
Okay, yeah.
Right? You're probably going to get hit on more. You're probably going to get more clients. You're probably going to get a lot more interest from your personal Facebook because you're speaking their language. It's like they were speaking alien to you before, and now you've actually understood alien.
Yeah.
Because you've understood what problems they're going through, and what better way to understand a person than understand the problems they're going through.
True.
So this is why, the only reason I got there though was putting myself in situations like I told you about and getting flat denied, or flat being like, I got told numerous times, I don't know why, to stop talking to people because I was overanalyzing things and I was helping them too much. I'm like, why'd they ask me the question then?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm at that point now that's just what I am, and I've accepted it. So the only way I got there though was practicing. If you don't want to go that fully in, that's fine. We can understand. But it's like riding a bike or learning a skill. This is a new skill for you. So the more you put yourself out there, like doing the video, for instance, right?
Yeah.
The more you do it, the better it's going to be, right? Like I put in my story, I didn't get as good as making testimonial videos as I am now as I was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? So I wasn't good at getting information out of people through digital as I was a year ago.
Yep.
Because you've just got to, at the end of the day, sometimes you just got to ask those hard questions and tell them stuff they haven't been told before. Because you got to remember, that person might be asking you a question because they've asked 7 other people and they haven't got an answer, not because they're coming to you for you. And this is where you can kind of kiss your normal life goodbye, because people come to you and actually want stuff. Like, I don't know if someone's coming towards me because they want me or myself, or they're coming towards me because I bring a better version out of themselves. That's the hardest thing in my battle right now. And you'll go through the same thing, because you're going to get people because your aura and your energy is so positive now, and it probably is before, but it's going to be way better now. People are going to be like, I want your life. I want how you talk. I want to be as positive as you are. I'm like, mate, you don't want my life. Right? So understand that, the more you can practice, the more you can put reps in, the better. Which means socializing more, which means talking to people more, which means putting yourself in awkward situations more, which means making live videos that don't really make sense. And this is where we're going to get really, really deep into probably week 4 or 5 or 6. We're going to get you doing live videos. We're going to get you doing video content. We're going to get you doing original posts. I've got a planner already made out for you, and it gives you all the information. We're going to get you posting. I think I put up to 40 or 50 times a week.
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
You're kidding yourself. I struggle with one a day at the moment.
I know, but like I said, everything's a process, man. Everything's a process. I don't move forward until the process is ticked off. It's like a boss on a given. We don't move forward until you're ready for that stage. If I threw all that at you now, you'd be like, how no? I was the same.
Well, when you just said that, then I'm just like, fuck, no way. Like,
yeah. But you've got to remember, like, I realized that really today is that my normal day now is making 3 posts or 3 videos of some sort for the week. A podcast, an email, messaging, coaching clients, creating content, creating documents. Like, I don't know where the time goes anymore when I'm here. When I'm overseas, it goes a little bit slower, but I still do the same content. You just get into a routine where it's like, I got into a routine so well that I would wake up, do 3 posts. I'd have lunch, 3 posts. I'd do dinner, 3 posts. It's not as hard as it makes it out to be, because you can plan a lot of it. You can schedule a lot of it. But it's the analogy that if someone looks down and can't see their parts they want to see, because there's something there, like there's something uncomfortable, they can't fit their jeans, they can't fit their dress, who are they going to think of? Right?
Yeah, okay.
But no one's going to be like, oh, stop posting. Or no one's going to be like, why are you posting so much? Or no one's going to
True.
We're not going to sell in these posts. We're just going to offer value, and then that value will reciprocate back to us through questions, messages, likes, shares, comments, whatever.
Yeah, right. Okay.
And like I said, like it's not about being as technical as making overlays, making voiceovers, making music behind the scenes, getting text on it. That's 2, 3, 4 months away. Just not being you is what we want to market, because as soon as we launch the product, we're going to be like, okay, well, this is why he's been doing it. But actually, because he's posted for 4 weeks of giving me actual value, I'm going to do his challenge. I'm going to do his offer. I'm going to take his offer. And that client's going to stick around a lot more than a person you just got by doing 1 post. People think that they can make, 1 email, they can make 1 video and it's going to go viral. But like James Smith said, he posted for 10 months before he got 1 sale.
Yeah.
The thing that I love about him so much is that he's just fucking committed, man. Like, he will just post for as many years as possible, and he just doesn't care. That's why I resonate with him so much, because I will post Instagram posts, I'll post YouTube videos, I'll post photos, I'll post emails until someone unsubscribes. And if they unsubscribe, I don't care.
No, yeah, you just keep doing what you're doing.
Like, I mean, I've got 3,500 people on my email list. I've had 500 people since day 1 of me having that list unsubscribe, and I've been doing it for nearly a year. So in a year, I've had 500 people unsubscribe. That's 10 a week.
Yeah.
But I've always had 2 or 3 emails come back, so it's good odds, right?
Yeah.
And you're always going to have, like, when I said that, what was the most intimidating part of that, do you feel, for yourself? Not this but with the posting and the content and all that kind of stuff.
Trying to come up with the content. Like, I don't really have a problem with posting. It's trying to think up of content that I think people will find valuable, I suppose, without... And the other fear I've got is I don't want to seem like I'm copying anyone.
No. So the thing is, the thing that you, like, a lot of what I was really going to say at IFS, and I didn't, because I didn't want to make anyone feel like I was just keep on doing ideas and shit, is that everyone's copying each other. So although like Darren and James Smith and all this stuff come up with these ideas, that video has been done by Gary Vee, has been done by, in terms of the format, not the content. Format has been done by Gary Vee, Grant Cardone, ClickFunnels, all of that kind of shit. I mean, the way that they format their videos is actually done by a software, not by they do it themselves. But there's actually a software that has copied that style, and now people pay for that style.
Oh, yeah, right.
Right. So what I know is that although that's what stops a lot of people, you've actually just got to understand that as long as you're not saying the same content, it's not actually copying.
True. I suppose as long as you're putting it in your own words and your own spin on it.
Yeah, even so, there's no trademark on any of those posts. So legally, they've got nothing to stand on.
Yeah, true.
Right. So I'm not saying go out and copy them, but I'm saying, like, if you come up with saying, a calorie deficit video, right? If you did that on VIP group or you did it on a personal page, you're yeah. But that's like the shit she got for that is like, I'm like, welcome to my fucking world.
Well, that's what I said to her as well. I said, you can't. I said, don't stress on it too much, because she was ready to throw it in. She was ready to throw in the towel.
Yeah. Did I show you that message I put in the group chat of that guy going off at me?
Yeah, I think you did. Yeah, I seen that. Yeah.
So he was my, at the time of that, it was 2018. He was 2017, maybe 2017, 18. So that was when I became kind of like, I started getting followers, I started getting traction, I started getting more clients, I started getting more brand deals and all this kind of shit. So of course I knew when that came, I was like, fuck, here we go. So he was my best friend, bro. Like I was friends with him since 7 years old. And that's what I was friends with for 7 years old said to me. Because, do you know why? Because he was trying to grow his Instagram and I was growing faster than him.
Jealousy come into it.
I didn't say the backstory because I didn't want to. I was really hard to get across the message that I wanted to say through text. But if my best friend at the time can do that, anyone can do it. And you know what happened? I got upset. I got annoyed. I didn't stop. I just realized that I can't trust anyone. Right? Like anyone, my best friend that I was friends with since like age 7. If someone can like that can turn.
Yeah, anyone can.
Months later, another personal trainer that I was really, really good friends with did the exact same thing. In fact, he tried to take me to court because he thought I copied an email chain from another fitness person.
True.
I said, bro, you didn't come up with the email format. I just looked at an email format and said, hey, like that style, like not the words, but the format, the way that he was like styling things was the same, the same line. And I'm like, where was the trademark? Where's the TM? Yeah,
that's right.
And the thing is, I won an award that year, and I sat down and said, "Oh, am I still copying?" Or
yeah, well, that's like when Ernie was ready to pack it in, I said to her, "If you're going to go on down this path, I said you're going to have to learn to become thick-skinned, because there is always going to be people that are going to want to try and bring you down."
Yep. So I'll give you an example. So when I broke up with my girlfriend in Dunedin and I moved to Wellington because my family needed me, I just moved home. The biggest realization that I can't even trust people that I date was she turned around and said that I had everything that I built, I bought. So she thought that I bought all the people on my Facebook. She thought I bought all my clients. She thought I was all of these things. She said, everything you do is fake. Everyone laughs at you with your YouTube videos and your Facebook videos and your Instagram lives and your Instagram stories. Everyone laughs at you. And I'm like, no, everyone's going to laugh at you at 6 months when you go date a drop kick and end up in a halfway house.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because you still haven't done any of the stuff that you wanted to talk about, and it's been 2 years. I've done everything, and I've moved cities and now live in a house that's worth more than yours by myself. So whoever's laughing, it's not at me, it's at you, mate. Like, if someone like that I was dating could do, I've got so many stories. Anyone that goes through it, and this is why it's it's going to be beneficial for you, is that I've probably gone through it. I've still got knives in my back.
I suppose that's why. Like, because somebody asked me why I didn't go with Phil Graham. I said because he didn't resonate with me on a personal level. And anyone who I want in my circle or coaching me, or anything like that, I want to be able to relate to them on some personal level.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing as I want to do with my clients, relate to them on a personal level.
Exactly. And like what people forget about is it's not necessarily about systems, it's about coaching. So you may come to me in a call and say, actually, like, cool, the system's cool, I'm going to do that, but I've actually got a question about this, and this. And if you come to it's like a family member coming to another family member, and that's how I treat all my clients and business coaches, is that you're more likely going to tell me the issues that are actually coming up than if, let's say, you went to a Phil Graham one and didn't tell him because he has this big mantra of not giving a fuck or not having to go through that. He's probably gone through it. He's probably got systems for it. But at the end of the day, it's whatever you feel comfortable about doing. But again, like if you've noticed, like a person asked you a question based on the fact that, right, like there's so many, you can probably start seeing it soon. Like if you level up and get a business coach, people will be like, why are you doing that? If you get start doing Facebook ads, why are you doing that? You're going to get more and more questions to the point where I just zone out now. I'm just like, I just don't care.
Yeah, well, I had someone asked me that today because they're like, oh, what are you doing? I said, at 5:30, I said, I've got a video conference with my business coach. And they're like, what the fuck do you need a business coach for? I'm like, because honestly, I have no fucking clue what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I said, no, I need help. And I reached out to him, and he said he resonates with me on a certain personal level, and he definitely knows his shit. And we can't do it ourselves. Like you said to me the other day, we can't do it ourselves. We need help. You know,
it's
that's the same reason.
Like, from a business standpoint, it's more the questions that you have in your head that will only go around, and because the people that you surround yourself with aren't on the same level, business-wise.
No.
Like the person that probably asked you that question does what for a job?
He's a TA, trades assistant, and he goes, I love Mackay, and this is about as far as I'm going. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah. So when I was
just don't mind a little listening to it.
The reason why I left Dunedin also was I couldn't shit without someone knowing about it. I couldn't I couldn't walk down the street and vlog without the police being like, this is over exaggeration, but the police being called and saying, what are you doing? Right? I couldn't express myself in a city that was so introverted. I needed to be in a city like Wellington for a while that was so extroverted. Now I realize that Wellington's too small. I can't I can conquer Wellington in a day. I want to get a one-way ticket to London and see how I cope.
Yeah. And that's what you're doing.
Exactly. But that's it. Like I'm a person that will say, even if the worst thing happens, I'll make it work.
Yeah.
And I've always been like that since day one of personal training, and I've always backed it. So you've got people like that who are probably similar to my ex-girlfriend who just wants to stay in Dunedin for the rest of her life, get kids, be married to a person that's probably less than her, so she feels dominant, whatever. People are just like that. You can't control that person. And the biggest thing I can say early on is that you can't control what people say, so don't allow them to take any part of what you're doing away from you. So if they say, oh, that idea is shit, or why are you posting so much, or why are you making live videos on your personal profile? Like, why are you breathing? Why do you have food? Why do you smoke? Why do you drink beer? Why do you drink Spates instead of VB? There's so many things that we could throw back in their faces that we don't, because it's none of our business. But it won't make sense to them now, but it'll make sense to them in a year's time, where it makes sense to us now because we know what we're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Cool, man. Sweet. All right. So, ideal client, fill out those 3 things. Our session's next week. And I'll send you the link to that video as well, just to give you an idea of mind mapping and how to kind of expand on once you've got your ideal client. And if there's any other questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to set up a Google Drive for these videos. I think, actually what I'll do is it'll be easier is I'll put them on YouTube and I'll put them unlisted. I'll send you the link. So you can just go back and watch the entire thing.
That'd be good. Yeah, because I definitely will want to come back and watch this again while I'm going over.
It's just what I've learned in the past since doing this is that I don't want you focusing on the note-taking. I want you focusing on engaging in what you want the conversations to be like. And also you can scratch the audio, like you can attach if you just want the audio, you can have that as well. And you can just listen to it when you've got time, because the more you indulge in the stuff we're talking about, the more ability to be like, not every session is the last session within the 12 weeks, if that makes sense. So there's more value in it. Cool.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Definitely. Okay, cool. Now I've got some sort of bearing of where I want to sort of start from this week.
Yeah. So everything will start making sense once we start layering it. It's always just the first one that comes like, holy shit. And then, of course, when we go into the postings and the Facebook and the marketing and how we do all that kind of stuff, it's just a new kit or a worm. So it's building the foundations, using the things that are going to work, resonate with people, and then we go from there. Cool.
Sick. Yeah. Cool.
Cool, man. Awesome. Looking forward to it. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your night, and I'll talk to you next week.
No worries. That you will.
Cool, man. See ya. Bye.
Yeah, buddy.